All right, today we're going to dig into a world that's, well, it's absolutely essential for life on Earth, but it's one we almost never get to see. I'm talking about the incredible, complex architecture of a plant's root system.
We see a tree, a flower, a crop, but that's really only half the story, isn't it? Beneath the surface, there's this dynamic, hidden network that's constantly growing, sensing, and building. So what's really going on down there? Let's find out.
I want you to think of it like a city. A root system isn't just some random tangle of threads. Nope, it's an organized, sprawling metropolis. It's got construction zones, communication lines, supply routes, the whole shebang. And today, we're going to take a tour of this amazing underground world. Okay, first up, the plant's hidden half. To really get this, we have to start with the fundamentals. And it all kicks off at the command center. So, the root has some major jobs to do. 4, to be exact. First, it's the anchor, right? Holding the plant firmly in the ground. Then it's a forager, searching for every last drop of water and every bit of nutrient. It also has to manage this complex relationship with soil microbes. And on top of all that, it's constantly sending information back up to the leaves and stem. It's a true multitasking marvel. But where does all this growth even come from? It all starts right here, at something called the root apical meristem, or RAM for short. Just imagine a perpetual construction site at the tip of every single root. It's this tiny powerhouse of stem cells that literally builds the entire underground network from scratch. It's just incredible when you think about it. All right, so let's zoom in on that construction site. We're taking a journey right down to the root tip to see how it's all organized. And trust me, it's a beautifully efficient production line. So if you could look really closely at a root tip, you'd see this whole journey unfolding. As you move away from the very end, the cells go through these distinct phases in really specific zones. Let's walk through the 3 main ones. First up, you've got the root cap. Think of this as the root's hard hat and its GPS. It protects all those delicate cells behind it as they push through rough, abrasive soil. But it also senses gravity, telling the root which way is down. Pretty smart, huh? Right behind that cap is the meristematic zone. This is that cell factory we were just talking about, the RAM in action. The cells here are just dividing like crazy, constantly churning out new building blocks for the growing root. It's a zone of pure, raw potential. And this leads perfectly to the next step. Once these new cells are made, they move into the elongation zone. Now here they don't divide anymore. They just stretch. They expand like tiny water balloons. And this rapid expansion is what physically shoves the root tip deeper and deeper into the soil. So we've got the zones, we've got the process, but what's coordinating all of this? Who's the conductor of this whole underground orchestra? Well, the answer is a single, incredibly powerful chemical. Meet auxin. This is one of the most important hormones in a plant's entire life. You can think of it as the master architect, the one sending out instructions for pretty much everything, especially where, when, and how the root should grow. So here's how it works. Auxin flows down from the shoot, and it's also made right there in the root tip. This creates these concentration gradients. We can call them auxin maxima or hotspots, and you can think of these hotspots as the chemical blueprints for construction. A really high concentration right at the tip, that keeps the meristem active and dividing. Other hotspots that form further up the root, those will trigger the growth of entirely new branches. And look, its role is not optional. It's absolutely critical. As the source material points out, if you block auxin from moving around, everything just stops. Root growth grinds to a halt, branching is completely inhibited, the whole construction project just shuts down. Auxin is the essential signal that keeps the entire system running. Okay, so we have our master plan from auxin. Now let's see how it actually directs the construction of specialized structures, like those tiny hairs that absorb water and the pipes that transport it. So here's a cool question. If you look at the surface of a root, some cells grow these long, delicate root hairs to suck up more water and nutrients, but their immediate neighbors stay totally smooth. How does a cell make that choice? How does it decide I'm going to be a hair? Or, nope, not me? Well, it all comes down to this amazing molecular switch. It's fascinating. Inside every single one of those surface cells, there's basically a competition going on between a grow a hair signal and a stay smooth signal. In the cells that are destined to be smooth, a specific gene gets turned on.
But in the cell right next door, that same gene gets blocked, which unleashes the command to grow a hair. It's this really elegant on-off switch that creates the perfect pattern for absorption. And if we go even deeper inside the root, we find the plant's plumbing system. This cross-section shows this highly organized vascular tissue. You see that star-shaped structure in the middle? That's the xylem. It acts like pipes to pull water up from the soil. And then, nestled right between its arms, you have the phloem, which pipes sugars down from the leaves to feed the growing root. Now, a single root can only do so much, right? To really explore the soil and find what it needs, the plant has to build a massive network. It needs to branch out. And the process for creating a new branch, a lateral root, is just remarkably precise. It all starts with our master architect, auxin. It creates a hotspot in a deep layer of the root called the parasite. This signal basically wakes up a few cells telling them, okay, time to start dividing. They form a tiny new root tip, a primordium, which then organizes itself and starts its journey outward. And you can see that incredible journey right here. It starts with just a handful of activated cells deep inside the parent root. They multiply, they form a little dome, and then they physically force their way through the outer layers to break out into the soil. And just like that, a new root is born. And it's so important to remember, none of this is random. Every single new branch is a strategic decision. It allows the plant to efficiently forage for little pockets of water and nutrients, constantly expanding its reach and building its underground empire. So from a single hormone, a simple chemical blueprint, this entire complex, self-building city emerges. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this level of intricate design is unfolding constantly right beneath our feet, orchestrated by hidden architects like auxin, what other incredible systems are at work, shaping the world around us in ways we haven't even begun to notice yet?